peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good morning, Africa, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television, the only television sub-Saharan Africa that deals with African matters. What kills Africa? What ails Africa? Today being a Friday, 7th May, the year of our Lord, 2021. Our role is to make people happy, to laugh a bit, to look at the topics that made the week and see, is there something sensible coming out of Africa? The whole week, this week, we had very great discussion over 200 and 300 youths, 400 youths of Africa. I am honored to have addressed you. I'm honored to have received your contribution. There is another bigger conference that is coming for you. Don't miss it on 15th of July. It will be massive, massive. I got a lot of ideas. I got a lot of contribution in terms of material, terms of intellectual capacity. Africa talked this week. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers, wherever you are in America, United States of America, if you are in the middle of your dreams, Africa woke up very early. We are ahead of you. You know, God cannot give everything to everybody. God gave us the color which is black. And God gave us the sunshine. It starts at our place first before it goes anywhere else. You see, God has never been unfair to anybody. But he does a lot of good things for so many people, and he's everywhere, so he's busy. So we ask you to stay safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, keep a distance, don't travel when it is not necessary. Because Medium has got figures there. Those figures, Medium, don't look nice. They don't look nice. Thank you very much. All of you, wherever you are, tune in. www.punchlineafricatv.com. Live, we are on. We are signaling Qatar, Turkey. Why? Today we are moving everywhere. But this television station, Miriam, before I hand over to you, it tells the truth. If we had not shouted, the Emir of Qatar would have not known that the minister is a thief. So, Mr. Sheikh, Emir of Qatar, you owe me something, a casimo, a handshake. I don't sell gold in Kenya. I am not a gold digger. Neither do I steal gold here. I steal this. I work with this brain. The Emir of Qatar, Your Excellency, you must thank me for having showed you that your minister was a thief. He has been giving out money without you knowing. And this money has been coming to kill people in Africa. Thank you very much. He was sacked, arrested. You know, we want countries that are practical, William. Practical. Practical. Hey, today I am on a Good Friday. Whoever is going to miss this will miss one of the best shots I am in my moods today to deliver a verdict against Ruto. Shut wagwan that I have numbers. I have numbers. Hey, Itumbi, go to school. Itumbi, go to school. Start going to school, boss. You have no knowledge of handling a man like to win an election. Go to school and start learning something. Where are the numbers yesterday? Where did we see them? We are going to touch that. Miriam is going to arrange us properly. But I'm going through these things, Miriam, so that I give your workers. We are going also to see the animals of Tanzania crossbreeding. Crossbreeding. I am now speaking the Ugandan Museveni English. Crossbreeding. This show is uncensored. If you didn't know, it's uncensored. So don't mind. You can even speak like a Buhari. I'm speaking my Ugandan accent. The crossbreeding of the Safom National Park and the Marathon National Park took place this week. The president herself delivered a salvo by saying crossbreeding. We shall look at that. Then we come to Ruto. Has he lost his? Is he alive? He must have gone to the toilet several times yesterday. Mr. Ruto, ghost worker. What? Oh my God. Let's have it. Then we move on. We move on. We move on. Africa needs to move on. Another lady in Zambia said, oh my God, we need agriculture which is sexy. What? Have you ever been in agricultural show? Or the agriculture digging in the farm which is sexy? This lady will speak to us here. Then we shall cross over to thank Qatar for having done one cardinal thing for Africa, to have negotiated silently for Farimajo, His Excellency President Farimajo, to understand that we are people who live together, we shall live together, die together, maybe taken to God together. Thank you very much, Qatar. Qatar, Miriam will bring a very interesting story. Then we move on. This week, we have very interesting news coming from this land of Mandela. What is happening in the land of Mandela? If Mandela woke up and saw Ramaphosa, wrapped in Rapaso of Ramaphosa, Sirio Ramaphosa, where are the pictures? When I talk, I want to see the pictures. Hey, the studio, what is going on, man? I want to see these pictures. People want to see them. No, but I'm just introducing. Then Miriam lines them up. Ramaphosa. Ramaphosa is involved in a very terrible, cantankerous game that is going to destroy South Africa. The Secretary General is sacked. The Secretary General is sacked. Sacks him. He also sacks the Secretary General. Isn't it the game that Ruto wants to play in the game? Isn't it? Watch out. If I'm wrong, my mouth is always very bad, poisonous. When I tell you something, it happens. Believe me or not, this morning, so many people have written to me to say, are you just related near prophet Elijah? I said, no, My tribe, we circumcise. Bagisu, circumcise. The only tribe in Africa that started. You can't be a leader in my tribe, which is the Jewish. It is the Jewish culture. So I said I might have been very close to Elijah without knowing. But we had a man in Bugisu called Idini ya Musambwa, Masinde Muliro. There's another man Elijah. So the Elijah Muliro from Mount Elgon, Karanja, is my elder grand. So I might be one of those Simba, the party called Simba. The president of Simba is Wetangula. Wetangula, I think over this weekend he better thinks very fast. Because in this new coalition he might be thrown out. And they will have nowhere. He can't pass that place. Let him be careful. The statement is following Orengo. Orengo is looking for some literal money. Obsento, butono, pesha, dogo, zile za George Soros. I told you. Woohoo! Thank you. Now, Miriam, coming back to the seriousness. Africa this week. Kenya this week was a very interesting week. We started very well, and I hand you over. I am very impressed before I hand over the microphone to you about Tanzania opening up on COVID-19. Madam Hassan Suluhu, ukuwe na Suluhu. I am very impressed with Madam Suluhu. You listen to some of us silently, who delivered silent documents to you. Some of us, you know one of the things that you people don't know in activism. Don't just run around waiting. Deliver. Get your document and deliver to the PA. Mwambia mama, mwambia PA, mwambia please, patia mama asome. Hii mambo ya prisoners, political prisoners. You don't need to shout. We told mama quietly. Send the document quietly. Please read this document. Mama went to Tanzania, released all political prisoners. They are free now. They are free. They are walking free. He told the DPP to drop all the charges. Isn't that good work? I don't know. I don't eat frogs. The only maybe my throat is like this because I have not eaten a frog. One of these days I might try a frog. My voice might open up. What do you think, Miriam? It's a delicacy.
Yeah.
I'm asking for advice, professional.
Your voice just needs some nice warm water and some honey and maybe chamomile tea. You'll be fine.
It is here. Come on here. What frog will finish this problem?
All right. Thank you so much. And also we're joined this morning by Daniel Wesonga, Douglas Kiribi, Jevin Karanja, and Samuel Tawish. And I think we'll just get into the show as Dr. really has made the introduction there. We have so much lined up for you, and a lot of what we are supposed to talk about also is captured on the newspapers this morning. So maybe quickly I read through the headlines, and I'll start with the Standard newspaper. The main headline, how Uhuru Raila clipped BBI attack. Legislators from across the political divide spoke strongly against at least 10 issues in the bill when it came to voting last night. The tide dramatically changed, with proponents smelling victory. That is what is on the headline there on the Standard newspaper. On the Daily Nation, divisions rock Ruto camp as MPs vote on BBI. Some of the lawmakers in the DP's corner who have been vocal against the BBI broke ranks to vote for the BBI, which proposes to expand the executive, create an extra 70 constituencies, and devolve at least 30% of the national revenue to the counties, and their names are under there, and that is also the main story there. And on the Star newspaper, stay to go for grabbed land, says Karone. Ministry of Lands targets to repossess at least 800 pieces of government land stolen in Nairobi. And then Oparanya tells ODM off as Orengo dares Raila. That is also there. So I think is also captured in one of the topics there. So maybe we just start with that vote that we saw yesterday, that we saw a handover victory to the BBI team. Majority of votes there. There are people, Doctor, who voted for this, for the BBI in Parliament that had opposed this BBI. And it surprised a lot of Kenyans there yesterday. So that is where we start our conversation this morning, Doc.
Thank you very much, Miriam. It will be only a fool, a malcontent, a man who wants violence in Kenya who can actually refuse peace. Peace is most important. The people who voted for peace. The people who voted saw from 1992, the Kenyan situation has been volatile every 5 years. People have died. Uganda has had its share. You see, Mr. Ongwen being sentenced 25 years, making a record in East Africa, the first man to go from our great East Africa. Because of violence. Violence in Kenya has been there every 5 years. When the people hear of elections, they make rungus, they pick up bangas, they sharpen arrows, they start matusi, which is insults, which kills people. So it is up to you people. I am very happy that yesterday, those who hate BBI changed their mind, and we thank them. Miriam, I just want to tell you, the referendum will go through. The referendum will go through.
All right.
From yesterday, the only thing that I want to advise Mr. Ruto, let me be kind a bit today for him. Just a bit kind. I know Douglas would not like me to be kind, or Wesonga, or Javan Karanja, but please, let him spare this money for his children. You know, the children are innocent. The children are innocent. The money must be spared. It will be needed in this month. Ruto's money is needed for lawyers, so many places. I'm telling you, if he has ears, let him hear me. The other time, his money was paid, but he doesn't want to tell people the truth. But this time, if I were him, tone it down, work with your friends, give a legacy to President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Believe me or not, the show on the floor yesterday, do you know where we are heading, Miriam? We are heading to an impeachment. This guy is a trial. You have seen how many MPs. These guys are going to call. If I were Ruto, I would run very fast and ask Uhuru Kenyatta, please, let's start working together. At least you make me walk near you once. But these MPs, now, they are determined. Wataenda na mtu. They are going to bring an impeachment motion. So let's be prepared. And this will be devastating the dream you know, once you are impeached, they discuss your conduct, you never again, you can never stand for any elective place in this country. So if I were Ruto, I would run very fast and amend my fence and work and apologize to Uhuru Kenyatta and say, please, I did very bad things. I collected Alice Wahome. I collected Dini Nyoro. I got your MP from your own constituency. Gave him a few million stolen money. He built apartments. When he cannot pay my 300,000 for his bail condition, which I bailed him from court. Everybody had left him there. That Moses Kuria, you see, people left him there. He was going to rot. So, if I were Ruto, I would be very clever quickly. But if you have ego, if you think this is not a sign enough for you to see the smoke very far away on Popu's house, you know the smoke in Rome is seen from how many miles are you Karanja? Are you not in Anyuki? When the other Pope died, you waited. I know you are Catholic. You waited to see the smoke. Who told you? Why? Who told you that? Wow. Look, why didn't you go under Wakisha Moto? Wakisha Moto and Nanyuki and see the smoke. You had to wait for the smoke from Rome.
Yes.
So what do you advise Ruto?
To go back and wait for after 2022, maybe he can restructure himself back. But for now, he needs just to go home and relax and to concentrate on chicken rearing and some other businesses.
All right.
So go ahead. You have got a chance. You have come in now. Tell us, what do you think?
Yes.
The question the media asked me.
Jevan,
that's the way we discussed on Friday.
Yeah, so those who voted
Anybody?
Yes.
Numbered 235 against 83 who votes for no on the second reading. 2 lawmakers abstained, and on the third reading, 224 MPs supported the bill. 63 voted no, and 2 abstained. Were you surprised by the voting pattern there yesterday in Parliament?
I was not really much surprised because from the onset, we had members of Parliament who have been pretending to be opposing the BBI because of the few coins that they were getting from the hands of William Ruto. And, when the time came to show and to stand with their people, and I was surprised to see the likes of Kimani Ngojiri, MP Bahati, people have been following the deputy president for almost 3 years now, supporting this bill. This shows that deputy president has people. He calls his supporters, especially the members of parliament from Mount Kenya region, who follows him around, but they don't really follow him because of the substance or the character or the principle of leadership that the deputy president has, but they follow him because of his deep pockets, because of the few coins they are getting. And that was clearly manifested yesterday through the voting. This shows clearly that the deputy president has lost grips of the of the national parliament. And as Dr. Masanga is saying, if we happen to have an impeachment motion, it will go through successfully because it shows clearly that those people who follow the deputy president at the fullness of time, even before we go to 2022 presidential campaign, some of them will have decamped and supported other coalitions, because for politicians, their political survival is key rather than the personal and individual interest of their preferable presidential candidate. Therefore, at the fullness of time, if deputy president continue losing grips, continue losing support, continue losing ground, I'm seeing him even as we go to 2022, as Francis Atwoli was saying, that he might not be on the ballot. He might not be pushed to be out of the ballot, but he might surrender and maybe decide not to run for presidency, because if he happens to lose the members of parliament to support him, that reflects also on what is happening on the ground. Therefore, I am not surprised. And when we had this Miriam started to come in play, when his members or his supporters, especially his the people who he planted in influential positions in the National Assembly, like the majority leader, like the majority Senate leader, Kipchumba Murkomen and Aden Duale, when they were being de-whipped from their position, we expected the deputy president to marshal in numbers that maybe could have saved them, but that didn't materialize. Therefore, this shows that the deputy president has been on losing end since the handshake. Therefore, he needs to go back, as Dr. Masanga is saying, to go back and hibernate somewhere and restructure himself and come up with new agenda. Because even the agenda that he started of the Hasra narrative, it lost momentum. Now they no longer talk about the Hasra narrative. Now they are talking of upside down economic trajectory or aspects that are not even making sense at all. Therefore, at the end of the day, the deputy president has run short of ideas, although he didn't have so big policies or ideas in first place. But the ideas that he started, they are losing glory every time. Therefore, this shows that in his political career, he has reached a point where the only person, and I think he need to go back in the settings and maybe talk with President Uhuru Kenyatta, and maybe come and maybe the only person who can rejuvenate his political star is President Uhuru Kenyatta. But already he has broken the fences. Therefore, at the end of the day, the deputy president is so sad that he was consumed, and this is what we call self-inflicted wounds. His raw ambitions to become the president made him think and act like the boss of this country. And in the 48 laws of power, Miriam, when you try to outsmart your boss, when you try to walk and behave like the boss, that is a grave mistake. You don't do that when you still have a president in power. Therefore, where deputy president is heading in a political oblivion, and I think he has done his job. He has failed the Kenyans. We give him responsibility to work with President Uhuru Kenyatta. Instead, he went around to campaign. Therefore, this is a man who even Kenyans of goodwill, we cannot trust him to take this country to the next level. Therefore, whatever awaits him, whether an impeachment, whether on the ballot to 2022, I don't see him going higher from the office of beyond the office of the deputy president in his political career. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Daniel Wesonga, Deputy President, has been walking around a very confident man, saying he does have the numbers in Parliament, at the National Assembly and Senate, and a number of governors who have been supporting him. But what we saw yesterday, even some of the loyalists who have been with him in this Hustler Nation's journey, yesterday decamped and went and voted for yes. These numbers that the Deputy President has been bragging of having, what do you think happened to these numbers?
Thank you, Miriam. And of course, the deputy president is not a man new to bravado and all the kinds of chest thumping when it comes to numbers and all that. But previous occasions, like what happened yesterday, have always revealed the lie and the facade the Hustler Nation numbers have become. You remember when they were impeaching the former Kiambu Governor Ferdinand Waititu, we thought that being a close ally of the deputy president, these numbers in Senate and these numbers in the county assemblies will have come quite in handy for the former governor, but he was impeached. We saw that when Kipchumba Murkomen, Susan Kihika were being ousted from their position in the Senate, these numbers never came to play. We have seen the other day when Mike Sonko, a self-proclaimed hustler adherent and a very close ally of the deputy president, was ousted in Nairobi County. The numbers never came to play. We saw that when the county assemblies were passing, actually the BBI bill itself, to the next level, the numbers never came to play. And surprisingly, even county assemblies in the deputy president's stronghold in the Rift Valley, a number of them actually passed the BBI bill to the next level. So, Miriam, that goes ahead to uncover the lie that has been perpetuated time and over again from the Tangatanga group, that they have numbers and they have the majority, and therefore they are ready to shoot down the BBI agenda and go ahead to win the presidential election in 2022. The occurrences of yesterday shows you that the bastion of the deputy president's support has really diminished. His 2022 presidential ambition has been deflected, and therefore he's a lone ranger, and he do not have even the goodwill and the power to marshal enough numbers to really propagate his agenda either in parliament or the Senate. So to me, Miriam, the BBI is going to pass, and we are going to fix the IEBC. And in 2022, I don't think William Ruto has the prospect he had before, and the language that they have been talking and the boastful innuendo that they have been propagating out there turns out to be just a mirage. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. I think there's one member of parliament that surprised a lot of Kenyans, and that is the Bahati member of parliament, Kimani Ngujiri, who has been a strong critique of the whole process. He has rubbished BBI time and time again, but yesterday he voted for the approval of this bill, Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020 in Parliament. Douglas Kiribi, what do you think happened there?
Miriam, as usual, I am not surprised, and I'll never be surprised because of the theatrics that I have seen the Tanga wing of Deputy President William Ruto exhibit in the political arena of our nation. Number one, Bahati MP Kimani Ngujiri, in politics I've always said that you don't just wake up and find things happening. In politics, when you wake up and find yourself as president, you have never been asleep. For Kimani Ngujiri, he has a lot of infighting for control of UDA in Nakuru County with the Senator for Nakuru, Susan Keeka Mburu. Now, when you look at the infighting in Nakuru, then it escalated when Kimani Ngujiri accused Mwangi Kiunjuri of forming a small party that belongs to his wife, children, and girlfriends. It is to that analogy that you find Kimani Ngujiri in parliament voting against BBI, voting for BBI and frustrating William Ruto's troops. And it also comes down to one point. I have called several associates of members of parliament in Meru who voted no in the constitutional bill that was in parliament yesterday. And these people have told me, including brothers and sisters of these members of parliament, they have told me these people are on loan to William Ruto. So when the window comes for them to be able to declare their stand, they are going to leave William Ruto. The Urabro about William Ruto and his candidature is just out there, like Sean Wesonga has said, it is just being exhibited in the Rift Valley. He is a Rift Valley leader that cannot be able to marshal numbers across the nation, Miriam. And in politics, when you start a war, make sure that you have the tools and also you have the muscles to be able to make sure that you win. William Ruto has failed terribly, and according to history, I'll go back to his UDA chairman, Johnson Duya Muthama, who said that whatever is happening across the country under UDA is the pattern that is going to be exhibited in future. And I'm not going further from what he said. They have been failing terribly from one point to another. When signatures came, they said they are going to stop reggae. William Ruto, none other than Deputy President William Ruto, he said himself that they are going to stop the signature reggae. It came, he was defeated. Went to the county assemblies, he said they have bought everyone, and after meeting them using our taxes. What pains me, Miriam, I have filed my taxes. I pay taxes in this nation, and William Ruto have funds to buy tea and also give the handouts from Karen. They made the sure at county level, they failed him. Miriam, it has come to the National Assembly. The other day I saw him, and I showed you that tweet where he said, I have met over 300 MPs in Karen, at my current office, my current residence. And after meeting these MPs, Miriam, they failed him when he really needed their help. But when they needed loans, when they needed handouts, William Ruto could be able to afford the numbers. But when they comes to a crucial vote in National Assembly, these very members of parliament have been able to fail him. So Miriam, when you look at the chronological events that have been able to happen against UDA and against their leader, it shows a man under siege, a man that is going to fail terribly, and a man that is going to be abandoned by his troops. Kimani Ngujiri, the greatest defender of Dr. William Ruto, has been able to abandon him on the floor of the house. Miriam, this is a sign of things to come. After BBI passes now, the next battleground will be the presidential ballot in 2022, where we are going to make sure that William Ruto falls. Because at the end of the day, Miriam, I have told the people of Kenya, William Ruto is a man that is not fit to be in office. Even Kimani Ngujiri cannot believe and nor can save William Ruto at this point. Kimani Ngujiri has disowned his own leader, a man that they have said is the solution to the problems of the people of Kenya. I wish Kimani Ngonjiri Rak, and I also thank him for redeeming himself to the people of Bahati and also to this nation, Miriam. All what is happening, as I conclude on my point, Miriam, is a crumble of the tower of Babel in our political scene that has been permitted by William Ruto and also funded by taxpayers and rooted public funds, especially for the people of Kemorel in this rainy season. Your monies have been eaten by these MPs and they abandoned William Ruto. You need to put William Ruto to account and make sure he delivers your money before he talks about economic models and reviving the economy of this nation that he has been preferring and steering, rooting since 1992, Miriam, that years ago.
Okay, thank you so much. Samuel Tawish, I don't know why Kenyans were surprised yesterday that MP of Rarieda, Molo Tiende, voted in support of the PPI, because we know lately he's been raising a couple of issues and some problems he thinks he's been expressing he has with the PPI process, one of them being the number of constituencies and also Parliament. They wanted a leeway to amend some of those articles in the PPI, which is against the Constitution. He's a lawyer, he knows that, he understands that, but still, they're pushing for that. And but he went ahead to support and voted to pass this bill yesterday. Does this mean maybe we're coming of age? I can be with you in a party, disagree, but that doesn't mean I don't support what the party stands for, or this is just a self-preservation move there by Rarieda MP?
Thank you so much, Miriam, and the rest of the panelists who are making their contribution, indeed, all the viewers. Miriam, is a good question you've asked about Otiende Amolo, to be particular, because for Otiende Amolo, I suppose he was trying to test the waters and see how deep he could go, how deep he could swim. And I think he just realized that maybe things are not the way he perceived initially. Sometimes when you get to a certain level, you think you can even try to wrestle your master. You can try and be on the same sailing or in the same table with your master. But I think that is not something that is that is something that Otiende Amolo is finding different in the political field altogether. Because again, having been the vice chair of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee in Parliament, and having raised reservations and misgivings about sections of the BBI bill on the floor of the House, and at a time when his own political party, ODM, that sponsored him to be elected first as member of Parliament for Rarieda, and also to be elected to that particular committee of the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, had already taken a position that as a party, ODM, we are supporting BBI as it is, without any amendments on the floor of the House. So here you are as a vice chair of such a crucial and critical committee. You go for a convention, you go for a meeting, you decide on some of the things on the bill. Then you come to the floor of the House trying to mislead members of Parliament as well as Kenyans about this document. So I think Otiende Amolo, after he was flagged off by ODM, especially having been de-whipped from his position as vice chair of JLAC, he came back to his senses and realized maybe this is not the route I should take. But I think it is not largely of being cowed down. I think it is more of a realization that this is how things are supposed to be done. That he could be trying to wrestle, maybe to wrestle with the some of the bigwigs within the ODM party, not necessarily because BBI as a document is bad, but because he wants to test his supremacy and how powerful perhaps is getting in the run-up to 2022 general election. Remember James Orengo, who is one of his, lieutenants or supporters, if I may put it that way, because they seem to subscribe to the same thinking in as far as legal matters are concerned, and lately on political matters, they seem to read from the same script. And coincidentally, these people come from the same county with Raila Odinga, that is Siaya County. So you cannot understand how suddenly people who are perceived to be too loyal to Raila Odinga, who are perceived to have participated a lot or hugely, contributed hugely to Raila Odinga's political journey, can suddenly begin to pour cold water on a process or on a journey that Raila Odinga himself believes fully and 100%. It tells you that there are some elements that we're trying to cripple in the opposition ODM party in an attempt to try and paint Raila Odinga as a person who is losing control of his own house. But I think with the unfolding events, these leaders are now coming back to sense. Miriam, if I may get to respond on what just the other panelists mentioned about Deputy President William Ruto, I think there's a myth we need to debunk, a lie that we need to debunk about Deputy President William Ruto and being the kingpin of Rift Valley. I personally come from Rift Valley, and to be particular, in Narok County. It is a lie that William Ruto commands a huge following in the rest of the Rift Valley or in the whole of former Rift Valley as a province. In my thinking and in my own opinion, Miriam, I submit that William Ruto only has a handful support in the Kalenjin nation and not the entire Rift Valley, the former Rift Valley province. Because in Rift Valley, we have the Narok County, we have the Kajiado County, we have Samburu County, we have Turkana County, we have Trans Nzoia County, and so many other of the Elgeyo Marakwet and others who do not 100% or ultimately subscribe to William Ruto's ideology, save for a few handfuls from the Kalenjin nation. Even looking at the kind of voting that happened yesterday, were you surprised, Miriam and the panelists, that one of the lawmakers nominated for that matter, who comes from my region, that is Narok, in the name of David Sankok, actually being one of the ardent disciples of William Ruto, voted a yes yesterday? Were you surprised? I mean, and someone else here has talked about Kimani Gujiri from Bahati in Nakuru County. It is only a stupid person like Dr. Masanga has put it who will vote against this bill. Let me take, for example, Bahati MP Gujiri, Kimani. When you have Nakuru County getting extra 3 constituencies and you expect Kimani Gujiri to go and vote a no in the National Assembly, how would you expect his electorates, the people who voted for him to go to parliament, will react to him? I mean, does it beat logic that Kimani Gujiri will actually go to the National Assembly and vote? Unless you are a mad person or you are a stupid person, like I've seen some other people where your own county where you come from has gotten 5 or has a proposal of getting 5 more new constituencies by virtue of BBI, and you are standing on the floor of the House vehemently opposing the same document. What is it that you are going to tell your people? Don't you want more representation? Don't you want more resources to your county or to your constituency or even to your wards? What does it speak about such individuals? Unless you're mad or you're stupid, unless you're just bidding for someone else, then I do not think that that is someone's individual conscience that dictates their decision in as far as voting was concerned yesterday. I was quite surprised that somebody like Moses Kuria, MP for Gatundu South, who comes from Kiambu County, a county that is going to benefit to get 5 more new constituencies if BBI, when BBI rather, sails through, is one of those people who are voting against this bill yesterday. Right. You go to my county, you have Emuru Adikiri MP Joanna Ngeno, who actually is sitting on that particular seat by virtue of Kilgore's constituency having been divided into 2 for him to get Emuru Adikiri. Now there's a proposal to add extra 3 constituencies in Narok, and he goes to the floor of the House and votes no for this BBI bill. What does this speak if it's not about selfish interest? Because he's sitting in a comfortable position. He's now a member of parliament. He doesn't care if there are other people or other regions who feel that they need more representation or they need more leaders to come to the floor of the House. But as I finalize, Miriam, the recent happenings are just a pointer that William Ruto does not have any following. I mean, when you talk about numbers have to be there to be seen and to be counted. If it's about having 150 lawmakers going to Karen, like one of the panelists mentioned there, I mean, it was to be reflected on the floor of the House when it came to voting and supporting his vision and the ideology. I mean, that was not manifested. I mean, you have people who have been going to Karen, people who have been singing his tune, voting for the BBI bill that their boss is vehemently opposing. What does it speak? It tells you that these people are finally realizing that this is not the direction, that the direction is the BBI, the direction is the handshake. They have to support President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga going forward. It has nothing completely to do with people being coerced to blanketly support this bill, but they have realized that there are benefits anchored in this bill that if they do not support it, their people will actually sanction them and de-whip them from their positions come 2022. That is why you see some people had to go and vote for this bill, because you cannot understand why somebody like David Sankok, who says this bill is unpopular, BBI is unpopular, but when he goes to the floor of the House, he comfortably votes a yes. What does it speak? It tells you that the people from where he comes from in Narok County are supporting the BBI bill. And if he doesn't support it, then they will actually petition even the Jubilee Party that nominated him to that particular position to recall him back. So I think, Miriam, finally, we are noticing that people getting light, they are realizing they're getting into their senses and finding that as we head into 2022, the kind of lies, the kind of propaganda that have been peddled out there regarding BBI are actually false. And the true perspective is that a majority of Kenyans, if not all, support this process and they're waiting for it to come to a referendum for them to vote for it, including myself.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Thank you so much, Samuel Tawish. And of course, the Daily Nation headline there as we conclude on this topic, divisions rock Ruto camp as MPs vote on BBI. Some of the lawmakers in the deepest corner who have been vocal against the BBI broke ranks to vote for the BBI, which proposes to expand the executive, create an extra 70 constituencies, and devolve at least 30% of the national revenue to the counties. I see that we've been joined by Dr. Joseph Nyanchama as he continues to set up Dr. David Matsanga. Because the last time the vote was taken in the counties, they said, they have been bribed, they have been coerced and whatnot. But yesterday, these members of parliament were coming out in the glare of camera and saying, I so-and-so representing. Even Moses Kuria saying, representing the people of Gatundu South. I don't know, he was speaking on behalf of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I'm not sure who is, a member who votes there. He said, I'm voting yes or no. And it was, we all saw how they voted. So what will be the excuse this time from Ruto's camp? The loss.
Miriam.
Yes.
What excuse?
Yes, will they have this time? Yes.
There's not, Ruto is as his tribesmen. Look at the MPs that voted no, and then go and pick a few. Is there any MP who was a MP who stood up in Kisii, Nyamira? All the people who stood up are personal stooges of Deputy President Ruto. Those who stood up, Moses Kuria was a beggar begging for lunch in Intercontinental Hotel. Now he's an NMP with apartments from the man of Ruto. How do you expect him not to vote? No, he had to vote to please some money which Ruto has remaining can be given to him to go and make propaganda. If you look at what he has written now on Twitter and Facebook, he says the whole world of observers have come to Juja to witness his party defeat Uhuru Kenyatta. It is a lie. If you cannot even be able to mobilize 200 people to come for a meeting, how can the whole world in the COVID-19 send observers, international observers to Juja? Is Juja having a uranium bomb? So what excuse can they give? Let me calmly tell you. These people of Ruto, Miriam, you don't interact with them much on Facebook. I am one of those who has dismantled them on Facebook. There's one thing you do with them, Songa and Kirimi and Karanja will tell you. Those and my friend here, they follow me. I hammer them direct. I tell them the truth that Ruto is a thief. And when you are following a thief, you are a thief. Don't miss your words. That Ruto is a ghost worker. So a ghost worker cannot be invited to be at the state luncheon when you have not been working and eat rice for free. We are now trying to remove, this program is uncensored. We are trying to remove ghost workers from our systems. Then we discovered that there's one ghost worker who has been earning people's salary without work. So we cannot embarrass the head of state, the former head of state, the head of state of Tanzania, by bringing a ghost worker who could eat rice faster on a plate. This is now whatever it is. This guy could eat rice like he's so hungry. So the State House mandarins noticed that instead of having Ruto near, he could eat all the rice, and Mrs. Suluhu could remain with no food. They decided, because when a thief comes, he comes with his bags. He could actually swallow, even a handbag could be stolen around there. So what do you do with these guys? What can they say? What will they say? What else can they say, Miriam? Nothing. Nati. That is now English Gujarat. Nati. Hakuna. They are gone. And let me tell you, the government in place is that you don't fight a government the way Ruto is fighting a government. The government can decide to summon all those MPs, and you have no job by tomorrow. If I were Mr. Ruto, you know what I would do, Miriam? I would just resign quickly. Because something is coming which is embarrassing. If you can be, you are deputy president, and you have not, you are not in the official list of rice eaters. Rice. Unajua hiyo mchele ya State House mzuri sana. Very nice rice eating in the State House. Itumbi, you know, by the way, did you know that Itumbi was very small, like even smaller than Wesonga? But when Itumbi went to State House, he started eating rice. Rice, dirty rice. Itumbi grew fat with his cheeks. When I took Itumbi to the ICC in a plane, he could not even handle, he doesn't know how to handle fork. So when he went to State House, instead of using hands, he used, he used the hand instead of using he tried in the plane to use forks. They fell. I said the fork is caught in this hand and this hand. And the first time I took it to the ISIS. So look at he's today very fat. He can't even walk because he ate rice there. That rice of State House is very sweet. So you can't take a thief there who could eat more than Mrs. Suluhu, Hassan Suluhu. So a rice eater, a thief who can steal even food. What else can his MPs tell you? They are coming today to say the speaker rigged the microphone, maybe. But all Kenyans were watching. The whole world was watching the vote. The only man who disappointed me, Miriam, is Adan Duale. Adan Duale, being a servant of somebody, is very bad. It is better to be free than to be moderated like a robot. Adan Duale is somebody I used to meet. I used to give credibility. In fact, I used to write some of his lessons for his degree to coach him a bit because he doesn't know tools of analysis. In Intercontinental Hotel, I said, don't write this, don't write this. He is a very good man. But for him to see him vote no, when the entire Mandela, Agarissa, all the MPs there, even in the senator there, he's lost the seat. So, Miriam, let's begin our topics of uncensored. This story of Mr. Mashamba Marapu, Arab Mashamba, and Kemerero water, the rain started, and Eroro. as the rain comes down, the goats are crying. You know, the dam was supposed to be built. He took the money. He bought helicopters. Now there you are. I told you this month is for tears. We forgot to put the topic here. The chief prosecutor. The woman is not living with nothing. She's living with somebody. Atarudi kukua personal prosecutor. You know, she can come back as a hired to prosecute the case. Did you know that? Did you know that? She's coming back. She's not living Sungoi man. And Karim does not want to start his record in a bad way. He is guided by international obligations. So there is trouble in the paradise. Let's wait how it plays out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, or fortunately for Ruto, I hate ICC. So,
all right.
Because I hate ICC, Miriam, I will seek your indulgence.
You will defend him. Okay. Doc, before we leave this topic, I know we've exhausted it. I'd like to hear just a bit from Dr. Joseph Nyanchama on the voting yesterday, and then we'll quickly again get into our other topics, because we do have a lot of exciting topics with us today. Dr. Joseph Nyanchama, a very good morning to you. Yesterday's voting on the Amendment Bill 2020, otherwise known as the BBI. Were you surprised by the voting patterns there in Parliament?
Thank you, Miriam. You know, firstly, I wish to thank my fellow panelists. And it was interesting because, by the way, I watched until they finished the voting, almost midnight.
Oh.
One thing I want to speak to, and psychologists will tell you this. And you know, people were saying that the deputy president, his men, went against the promise. If you coach a child, psychologists will tell you this, and they forget what you coached him, what he would go by is his logic. The people you thought went against the deputy president's promise, they used the logic and they voted for the right thing. In fact, they went by what we say: if you do things right, you will enjoy your memories. And they did not want to go into history troubled, because this thing will be filmed, repeated over and over again. And they ask themselves, what do you tell your children? When they ask you, Mommy, Ama, Daddy, why couldn't you be part of history? So at that moment, even when they saw the debate, they used their logic. Number two, Miriam, there is something I wanted to say about this other camp which is opposing the BBI. I don't know whether any member within the camp know any little laws of war. You do not fight necessarily your enemy. You conquer him without being seen coming. How do you, as a number two, approach your boss with a clenched fist? He will destroy you. In fact, one of the laws, then I submit, Miriam, is that of war is called the moral law, meaning before you engage the war, you must make sure that the people are in complete accord with you, who's the ruler, so that they will follow you religiously regardless. What did it tell you yesterday? The people who follow him are not in complete accord, and they must be a worried man. And if he's not, when he hears these words from Pangela in Africa, he better start worrying. I submit, Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. And that is not a threat, it's just a strategy there. Perhaps DP might need to start to relook, go back to the drawing board and rethink how you do politics. Okay, Dr. Hari, do we move to Somalia normalizing diplomatic ties before we get into the other, before we go to Zambia and also Tanzania?
Yes.
Okay, so Somalia has said it is restoring diplomatic ties with neighboring Kenya after it severed relations in December, accusing Nairobi of meddling in its affairs. The statement thanked Qatar Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, whom it credited with playing a part in the reconciliation, and said the Kenya has welcomed that move. Nairobi said it took a note of the statement and was looking forward to further normalization of relationship at the Somali authorities. A State House in Nairobi tweeted on Thursday afternoon that President Uhuru Kenyatta received a special message from Emir Al Thani that was delivered by Qatar Special Envoy of the Foreign Minister. Relations between the two countries have been tense over the ownership of potential oil